Well, we are back with another edition of the podcast. As you can tell, the studio audience is here. Yes. We are talking about Gilbert Gottfried.
I just want to say one thing. If anybody knows that I play a cartoon duck, if there's any way.
Now, Gilbert Gottfried is, you know what, I love him. I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, makes it.
An acquired taste, to be sure.
And I actually worked with Mr. Gottfried. Mr. Gottfired. I worked with Gilbert Gottfried a few years ago, and it's very bizarre because on stage, you know, he does his thing. He's like,
right.
Why is it that every time I go in to have myself a steak sandwich,
and he does that. But then when you chat with him off camera, he's just like, so you're the opening act. Nice. Okay, good. And, oh, you're the MC. And I was like, yes. And he's like, oh, that's wonderful. So what's your style? And I'm like, I do a lot of voices and impressions. He's like, oh, well, that should go well. And hopefully,
and you know,
maybe he's like, we'll complement each other's styles.
And I have heard from people, you know, from talk shows that he's appeared on.
Yeah.
And I have this firsthand. He is known for his thriftiness, shall we say.
Oh my God! And his love of strippers. It was
I'm not vouching for that.
No, the whole time he was just like, so I understand that in Canada you can get like just a free flu shot. I was like, yeah, you can. He's like, so do you think we could make arrangements for me to go to the clinic so I
could get a free flu shot?
And I'm like, dude, it's $40, and like. If you don't, are you sure? He's like, do you think, like, if I don't have to present a card, like, I just go in and say I need my flu shot? I'm like, I don't know, I guess.
I heard they had things lying around, like, you know,
free stuff,
free DVDs or whatever, you know, things that nobody in their right mind would actually want to watch. But he's like, do you mind if I take these? And he's scooping them up.
Yeah.
And if any of his free food, he'll, you know, box it up, bag it up.
And he loves strippers.
But on the subject,
this is all only from
conjecture.
This is a purely conjecture based upon actual interaction I've had.
He
working
plays
with
the Aflac duck, which is basically
Aflac.
That's it. That's all he does.
Yeah.
That's the entire. He does. That's all he does.
Diego, I was wondering.
Which is that's what you call some easy money right there.
Yeah.
But he does have a recognizable voice. He's been in those Disney cartoons.
Absolutely.
He's in a PBS
talented individual,
show.
very funny,
right?
And from what I could see, honestly, from working with him, has a genuinely good heart.
Now he was fired because right after the tsunami in Japan, he started tweeting, and the tweets were a little offensive to some people. One of the tweets was, and these weren't exactly what you'd call his A-list material either.
I think the biggest crime was that it wasn't funny enough.
Maybe.
As weird as it sounds.
The one of the jokes was, you know, Japan's an advanced country. In Japan, you don't go to the beach comes to you.
Yes.
Boom, boom, psh. So.
And he said something, yeah.
But it was enough to lose him the job. Aflac fired him because they were considered offensive, and he actually issued an apology.
Yeah.
Which was bizarre. But I guess my point is that if you're even the tiniest bit familiar with Gilbert Gottfried and his comedy, this is a guy who, you know, he tried to pick up. He made. Oh, I don't even want to go into that one. Let's go. He's made Holocaust jokes. He's made horrifically offensive material, basically his trademark. So if you're going to fire him now, that just seems a little hypocritical.
Well, he revitalized his career back in 2001 when he did the September 11th jokes, and at the Hugh Hefner roast. It was very shortly after the whole September 11th thing happened, and a lot of people thought, oh, it's too soon, and he got booed. He was booed at the roast by his fellow peers, and so then, out of nowhere, he launches into the Aristocrats joke, which revitalized his career, and it actually was the catharsis for the Aristocrats, that movie. So it's very interesting that he, like you said, he's known as having this he's so politically incorrect. He's like a real throwback to I think he's a real throwback to like the Lenny Bruce days when he's doing what he wants to do, in that he says things that are just so offensive, but they are funny. And sometimes when that happens, not everything's going to be gold. Not everything's going to work out. Not everything's going to be wonderful. But the thing is, I think with Aflac, the problem is that he's also a guy who he does do the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's got such a distinctive voice. And so with Aflac, and so he has that double life where he's got the one where everything is filthy, obscene, and even people who pay money to go see him are sometimes offended. And then he's got the other side where it's like little kids love him and they love his voice. So
maybe we shouldn't be shocked that he lost this job. Maybe we should be shocked that he's managed to pull this off for as long as he has.
I think that's a better way to go.
That he's been, doing on the one hand, and he's not like he's been hiding it or keeping them mutually exclusive, but yeah, he's been doing the cartoon voices, and when you become a commercial pitchman, there are certain things that come along with that deal.
Yes.
And you do have to abide by that. But that being said, I mean, is it going to make me want to buy Aflac insurance more or less? Probably not.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, I think that his tweeting and doing the Tsunami jokes was in poor taste. Mm-hmm. It's not something I would have done. That's why I didn't do it. But he did it, and the one thing that I do find offensive and upsetting is when people say, what, you're not allowed free speech? This is America. That's what people are saying. You're like, no, you are allowed free speech. Free speech is you're allowed to say whatever you want. But it doesn't mean you can say whatever you want without suffering the consequences. Mm-hmm. It's not free speech without consequences.
That's right.
It's free speech. And Gilbert Gottfried, anybody's allowed to say anything they want in our system, North America, Canada, and the U.S. You can say whatever you want. The only problem is that people forget that you can say whatever you want, but then you have to man up and suffer the consequences, whether there are any or not. So.
Absolutely right. And on that note, it's time to wrap this sucker up, and we're going to be back with another podcast tomorrow.